and welcome to episode 297 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's all about Magic the Gathering. Whether you are new to the game of Magic, returning, you're headed out to a PPTQ, a GP, an RPTQ, or whatever other else way you're going to play it. Or maybe you're just hanging out at your kitchen table. This podcast is for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And we support all forms of magic in any combination of letters.
That's right. Any set of letters that you want to put together to spell the kind of magic that you feel like playing, we're here for it.
You know what? I wrote down, so the Twitter code or hashtag, that's the word for it, for Guilds of Ravnica is MTGGRN.
Yes.
Guilds of Ravnica.
Yes.
And today I wrote it as GNR. So Guns N' Roses.
MTG Guns N' Roses.
And I just thought about how we've had dreams in the past of designing a Huey Lewis and the News theme set for Magic, and now that's just like, well, now we've got the supplemental set that'll come after it for Guns N' Roses themed Magic set.
Nice.
So, you know, we have big plans for R&D.
Yeah,
they don't know
really
what's coming.
They could have no idea. Actually, we've talked about it a lot, so
yes, they might
probably
know.
Some of them know. Some of them.
On today's show, we've got a grab bag of fun for you. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on.
Oh my goodness, Guilds is here.
It's
finally here.
Guilds is here.
It's been such a lead up. It's been such a build up. It's been such an excitement.
I'm so excited too, still after playing the pre-release, because it was awesome.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about that.
And it's on Arena.
Yeah.
And anyone can play Arena now.
Yes.
It is. I mean, I'll save all of my words.
Yeah,
for
we've got
later,
more words on
but
Arena.
I've had so many words for it.
Oh, yeah, me too. And we're going to talk about, we're going to play Flavor Text Theater for the first time with Guilds of Ravnica with this beautiful pack.
Look at this pack.
That we won at the pre-release.
Wow.
No big deal.
Yeah.
we won packs.
That's right. That's right.
More about that later. And last week on the show, we said we would talk briefly about the statement from Jerry Thompson about not playing the World Championship. And so we're going to make good on that statement coming up at the end of the show.
Yeah. Well,
that's a lot of stuff.
What a roller coaster.
I don't know if we could fit it all in one show.
Except the roller coaster is mostly just the part where it goes, okay, wait, this is a problem that I'm having now with this
with the metaphor.
Okay, so you wanted to just keep getting better, right? So it's just going up. Exactly, but here's the problem: is that's the worst part of the roller coaster. So, like,
would you go on a roller coaster that only went up and then that was done?
Yeah, that's my kind of roller coaster.
Are you scared of roller coasters?
Yes.
I don't know if I knew that.
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm not as afraid as I used to be. I used to not go on them. Now I'll go on roller coasters, but like, I'm pretty afraid.
Which is odd because as a child, you trust adults more, right?
Yeah.
You're like, well, adults built this. There's no way something could be wrong with this.
And as an adult, I'm like, wow, we make a lot of mistakes.
Wow, adults, a lot of times, are good at their jobs.
There are a lot of people who are not good at what they do. And one of them might have worked on this.
All right.
Wow. We're also here to scare you about roller coasters.
No. Sorry. New podcast goal, record an episode on a roller coaster.
Wow. Wow. That's a big goal.
That's a long time on a roller coaster.
Also, like, the big problem is you can't take stuff with you.
True. It could go flying off.
Exactly. Like, that sounds just like a good way to lose a microphone.
Before we get into our show or any more roller coaster talk, big thank you to everybody who supports our show and our videos on patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
That's right. You are helping keep this show alive and on the airwaves and on the video waves and broadcasting out of your cat's mouth.
Yeah, it's all because of you. Thank you to everybody who signed up. As little as $5 a month, $125 a podcast episode can get you into our squirrel level for supporting us on Patreon. You get access to our Discord.
And our Discord is the cutest place on the internet.
I love it.
I will stake that claim. I know it's a bold one, but like just today, there were a bunch of people being like, happy fall.
I know.
And sharing different places to read spooky stories.
Like, that's adorable.
So not only are you supporting us, but you're joining a really wonderful and kind community of people that we adore.
Thank you as well to cardkingdom.com. You can go there to support us using the link cardkingdom.com/GLHF and buy whatever you need. Do you want to play this with your friends? Do you want to play Guilds of Ravnica with your friends in a friend draft? We do.
Yeah.
Where should you get boxed? Maybe Card Kingdom.
Hey, Card Kingdom. Hey, do you want to, play Magic?
Yeah.
get your stuff to play Magic at Card Kingdom.
You can ask for a GLHF sticker and they'll put one in your order because that's just the kind of people they are over there.
Nice.
That's cardkingdom.com/GLHF. Time for your Magic news.
Wow, a lot has been happening.
That's accurate.
Extra, read all about it. The pre-release happened this weekend. My goodness, did you know that Guilds of Ravnica is now being played all around the world?
Wow, I did, Old Timey Newscaster. What guild did you play?
I played Is It?
I was asking Old Timey Newscaster.
Old Timey Newscaster played Bulgari.
Ooh, why?
Because they're old timey like me.
I'll just have to take your word for it. Yeah, I played as well. We both did, turns out. Yeah. We played at our local game store.
Me, you, and Old Timey Newscaster.
And Old Timey Newscaster played at Lodestone Coffee and Games. Big shout out to them for being an awesome store that we can go and play pre-releases at. If you're ever in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, give them a check.
Yes.
Give them a check out.
Yes.
Check them out. That's
Head
the best
on
way to
over
say
there.
that.
If you're looking for a place, they have Magic events that you can go to all nights of the week.
Yeah.
They also have D&D events and other board game events. You should absolutely go check them out.
And pretzels and waffles.
Yes. And cinnamon rolls that are like enormous.
Yeah.
And every time I see someone eating one, I'm like, you made a good choice today.
Absolutely.
Good job.
All right.
Anyways.
So how was your experience overall? You got Is It?
Yes. I had a great time.
Yeah, me too.
We're going to talk more about this later, right?
Oh, yeah. We're in news. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's okay. You're just like getting ahead of yourself. News is that the pre-release happened, which means that this coming weekend, this Friday night,
release.
Yeah. Wow. Are you excited?
I am very excited. I want to see what people are brewing up.
Yes, same. I cannot wait to see what new standard decks, because I was realizing as I was playing on Guilds this past weekend, looking at standard stuff, I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know what people are going to make. I have a guess.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to see some aggressive Boros decks.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my main guess.
I've also seen like some green-white knights.
Ooh.
I know Craig Wesco wrote an article about it this week, and I've seen a couple of builds that have like Knight of Autumn, that have a lot of History of Benalia.
I'm in for that.
Marshall, and like a lot of other Conclave Tribunal as its cheap.
Sure.
Good removal spell. So I'm excited to see also where that deck goes.
You played a version on Arena with Spybug.
Yes, there's like it's a turbo surveil deck where you get out a Spybug, which is the little 1/1 for blue-black, and whenever you surveil, it's a 1/1 with flying and menace. Whenever you surveil, you put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Cool.
And then you put out a Doom Whisperer where you can pay 2 life and surveil 2, and then you just put a billion counters on your Dimir Spybug, and you attack them.
The Spybug is so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll save that talk for later, but
yeah,
that sounds like a cool deck too.
It was a lot of fun to play. I don't know yet if that's actually a good deck, but it was fun to play, that's for sure.
And that means coming up this weekend, we're going to see our first limited Grand Prix hit the big stage, which is in Montreal.
That's right. You're going to be there.
I am going to be there. And if you're Canadian, I hope you're there too.
Yes. Or not Canadian.
Or whatever.
You don't have to be Canadian to go to the Montreal Grand Prix.
I wish I got an honorary Canadian citizenship
for
going there. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice.
Yeah, but I'm super excited to talk about the cards for the first time at the Grand Prix level and see people play some limited with them, because this is absolutely, in case you didn't know, my favorite time to do a tournament is immediately after the release of a new set.
And we'll talk about this a little bit more in our pre-release thoughts, but I'm really excited to see how this sealed format plays out.
Me too.
Because it feels like it could go any number of directions.
I completely agree.
So many ways.
Okay, here's another news item.
Yes.
Arena is now in open beta.
That's right. That means you can go and download Arena.
Yeah, you do not need a special code anymore.
No. It is still, because it's still in open beta, it's not released yet. It is still only available on Windows platforms. But I'm excited for when I can play it on my Mac, and I will never. Actually, that'll be bad for me. I'll never stop playing.
Actually, I'm walking this back.
Actually, that'll be very problematic.
I play on Parallels on my Mac, and it runs perfectly fine, if anybody was wondering about that.
Yeah.
A lot of people asked me, actually, at the pre-release, they're like, are you paid to say, that you want to play Arena and that it's sweet? And I'm like, no.
No, it just is.
It just is.
So go and get it. Also, there are 2 codes. One, if you went to the pre-release, there is a little token in your pre-release box
Yeah.
that has a code on the back.
Free sealed.
That gets you a free sealed event, which is
Sweet.
awesome. And then there's also is that the other code still working?
Yes, you can use the other code once per account for 3
Yes.
free Ravnica packs.
Which is
Play Ravnica.
Play Ravnica.
Capital P, capital R.
Yeah, it is case sensitive. So yeah,
One
there's
word.
also some sweet get on out there and get your value out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's great.
It's so great.
It's great.
And as you said, new standard coming up, NGP
Yes.
Montreal Limited this weekend.
Holy
I can't
buckets.
wait. So only more news to come in the future. So
Yeah.
get Old Timey Newscaster ready because next week there's going to be more
man.
news. The news
He's
never
gonna have
stops.
a lot of news to report.
Guilds of Ravnica pre-release.
Wow.
Yeah.
It happened.
It happened.
We were there.
It was like I was waiting for so long for it to happen, and then it happened.
And then it happened.
And it was great.
And it was like almost it was a shock. It was like, it's
Yeah.
here. It's truly
here. It's
here.
finally here.
We've been waiting for so long. We brought our
we've got our decks.
our respective decks.
Yeah.
Maria,
Yes.
tell me about your experience from the beginning.
So I went in. I thought you were likely to play Demir.
Yes.
So I tried to secure a different guild. Now, originally, I was going to play Celestia,
Yes.
but I will say that I played my fair share of Arena, which had sealed events for Guilds of Ravnica available before the pre-release.
Yeah.
And I liked Bulgari because I thought there were some sweet cards that I could open, namely Vraska or Assassin's Trophy or stuff like that. Not for the value, but just because these are good and limited.
Yeah. As Magic Von Expert calls them, the
Gari.
Gari.
Yes, the Gari, excuse me. And so, yeah, I ended up with Golgari. But here's the thing. My deck was red and white.
Wow. What a surprise. What a shock.
I didn't de-sideboard. The Deafening Clarion was out of my sideboard, everybody, okay?
Nice.
I'm not that kind of person. But yeah,
Wow, you
I built
should
a
be.
Boros deck.
You should not be that kind of person.
And it was pretty sweet, actually. I had some pretty good cards. Inspiring Unicorn, which it gives an anthem attack when an anthem effect when you attack, including itself.
Yeah.
And it's just it becomes a 3/3. Rock Charger. I had a pair of these, aka Pegasus Courser. Send something to the air. You've got to have a pack beast in this deck. You just gotta. Inescapable Blaze deals 6 to anything.
Yes.
You need that to help finish out the game. You love this card, Meghan. Garrison Servant.
Sergeant?
Sergeant.
Yes.
Yeah.
This card
The Boros
is
aren't
so good.
3/3 double strike as long as you control a gate.
Spoiler alert, I splashed 2 of those.
Wow. That's how many gates did you have?
4.
4. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Just quickly.
And it's a perfect splash because it's like, you're splashing off of gates.
Yeah.
And so it's like, of course,
well,
if
here
I'm
we
able
go.
to cast it, it already has double strike.
I had Legion Guild Mage, which, you've got to have
Solid.
that
Sweet
in your
card.
Boros deck. Hammer Dropper.
We got Tajik.
Tajik, one of the best cards easily
Yeah.
in the deck. And I had a sick combo with Tajik and Legion War Boss, which is the goblin that makes another goblin during combat. So I get a free 3/3 with Mentor.
This is really
Pretty
solid.
good. Yeah. And I had a pair of Fresh Face Recruits, which is a 2/1 with first strike on your turn.
Yeah.
Which I think is monumentally important for the Boros deck if you're thinking about draft, especially along cards like Wojek Bodyguard, which is a 3/3 can attacker block alone. Mentor.
I played 2 of these in my deck. This card is so good.
It's so solid.
A 3/3 is just giant.
You're always gonna get a trigger
really
off of it.
solid. 3/3 for 3 is a solid body.
Yeah.
And at 3 power Mentor is so important.
Agree.
It's a great
100%. Like, for example, Blade Instructor, which is a 3/1 mentor for 3.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, that always dies. But
It
what
does.
I wasn't taking into consideration was it's going to trade when it dies, number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, it's going to mentor into something else.
Yeah.
I like it.
Same.
But I did not initially have that thought. Here's my overall thought on Boros.
Yeah.
I went 3-1, by the way, and only lost in the finals to another lady who's also playing Boros deck, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And but here's the thing. Mentor, I was not sold on it. How powerful it was, and as how would it work as a mechanic? Would I like it?
Yeah.
I thought it made Boros gameplay very, very interesting. More interesting than I recall ever Boros gameplay being.
Yeah.
I had to make some really interesting decisions and tough decisions on what I wanted to die in combat, what I wanted to pump up, where I wanted to put my mentor triggers. So I give a big thumbs up to Mentor. I think it's a great mechanic. They did a fantastic job designing it, and it makes for more interesting, aggressive gameplay. There you go. How about you?
So I got Is It.
Yep.
The way it worked, we pre-released it Lodestone, and the way they did it was they just gave everyone random, and then you could trade. They gave time to trade.
Yeah.
And I got handed an Is It box, and I was just like, do you know what? I'm just gonna roll with
Why
this.
not?
Like I love blue, as we all know.
Yes.
And like I'm willing to try this, even though, let's admit it, going into it, I think a lot of people were like, Is It seems a little bit underpowered.
Like maybe you won't be able to make it work in sealed.
Exactly. It seems like a difficult color pair to see work in sealed. It was great. Spoiler, I went, I mean, at this point I'm just reporting it. I went 4-0 with this deck.
Yes, you did. And you did not think this deck was particularly strong.
No, I did not. You can watch we'll have our pre-release blog up tomorrow. No, Wednesday.
Yes, so that'll be tomorrow.
And you can see this a little bit more specifically what I'm laying out here. But I ended up I built my deck and I was like, this feels underpowered. My creatures I don't have a lot of great creatures. They're not super powerful. All of my removal is only damage removal, which can sometimes be a problem if someone plays something really big and you just can't deal with it because all of your stuff like deals 4 and it has 5 toughness. And I'll admit that I think sometimes I did well because I drew well. But I think that's also in part because of Jumpstart.
Yes, absolutely.
Jumpstart is an incredible mechanic. There were times when it was just like late in the game, I would be drawing, I never drew lands because any land that I drew, I could just pitch to something in my graveyard and get a spell back.
Yeah.
There were times when my curve topped out at 6 with I was splashing an Affectionate Indrik.
Nice.
So I was blue-red.
Let me look at your mana base. So you had Guildgate, 2 Gateway Plaza. Okay.
Yeah, I played no forests and no plains.
Wow, I don't know if I would have put that in. That's a
It's
creative
pretty
move.
spicy.
I mean, it's a great card.
It's a single green and it's so good.
Yeah.
And maybe I wouldn't have if I hadn't been playing some online and just seen how impactful it is.
Yeah.
It's a 4/4 and it fights.
Yeah.
It's so good. So maybe I wouldn't have. And I had 2 Garrison Sergeant, which are the 3/3 double strikers.
Yeah.
And those cards are they're just great. They're just big, solid creatures, which is kind of what my deck needed at the end. And I never had this happen, but the Indrik, I was always like, well, if I draw it and I can't cast it, I can just pitch it to jumpstart something in my graveyard.
Sure.
Which I think was helpful.
You've got 2 Goblin Electromancers as well, which is critical to help you cast some of your spells.
Yes, and then I had Hypothesisal.
Nice.
Amazing. This card is so good. I love it so much. Drawing it just feels like the best. It's the best feeling drawing Hypothesisal.
It is fantastic.
You draw it and you're like, this is incredible.
This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Draw 2, deal 4 to something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a copy of Beacon Bolt, which is the one that deals damage to target creature equals to the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. And it has Jumpstart. I once dealt 6 damage to something. I had a lot of instants and sorceries. It was great. And like I said, sometimes it felt like just piecing it together. Like I did have 2 Wojak bodyguards and 2 Muse Drakes. So sometimes my plan, and 2 Fire Urchins. So sometimes my plan was like, oh, I'll play like a cheap 2/2 or a little flyer, and I'll play a bodyguard and I'll attack and mentor onto these smaller creatures. It just felt like a flexible deck. I was able to do whatever I needed to do. There were times when if my opponent wasn't doing anything, I could be a beatdown deck very easily. There was a time when I have 2 copies of Direct Current, and 2 of them, like 3 of the 4 castings were at my opponent's face. So I just like 6'd them with Direct Currents.
That's the thing with Is It in Boros. PSA, if you ever think your life total can be 6 or less, you're probably wrong.
Yeah. Anyways, it felt so flexible. If I needed to be beat down, I could be beat down. But at the same time, my cards were at a place where I could also block a lot of the time if I needed to, or I could use removal just to like hold the board. And then eventually my opponent would draw more lands than me because I wasn't drawing lands again. I was like pitching them to Jumpstart.
Yeah.
So I ended up being really happy with the deck. When I initially built it, I was like, this is fun, but it doesn't feel super good. And then afterwards, I was like, it's definitely better than I thought it was. So I'll give it that.
So after having played the pre-release and who knows how many sealed events at this point between Magic Online and Magic Arena, my overall takeaway is that every guild or 3-color combination is good.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
I agree.
A lot of people, I think, believe that Boros is nigh unbeatable when it's built correctly, and that may potentially be true, but there are plenty of ways to stop it.
I have lost online to people going, like, turn 1 Healer's Hawk, turn 2 that little 2/1 Goblin that, like, pings something if it blocks it, into Wojek Bodyguard. It's just like, you're dead. You're dead before you can do anything.
Yeah, so I do think Boros is extremely strong, and in draft remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But Boros is very good. Is it, as you can see, was very good for you and is very good.
Yeah.
It's just very tricksy. And what was the card? I wrote it down because I want to remind myself. Sonic Assault, which deals 2 to somebody and then taps a creature or taps a creature deals 2 with Jumpstart. I thought that card was going to be like kind of trash.
Yeah.
Gosh, that card has impressed me.
Yeah.
I mean, having it cast at me and me dying. That's how it's impressed me. Take out your blocker and then deal 4 to you, as essentially over a couple of turns or maybe 1. I wrote it down. Dimir. We love Dimir.
We love Surveil.
Surveil is awesome.
Surveil feels so good. There's so many times when I've surveilled. In this deck, I had the Dimir Informant, which is the 2 and a blue for a 1/4 that surveils 2 when it ETBs.
Yeah.
Enters the battlefield. So good. That card is incredible.
A 1/4, it blocks everything that Dimir wants. Boros wants to do.
Literally everything.
It surveils 2.
And surveilling 2, there are so many times when it's just like, I'm going to pitch. You just pitch things that you don't want.
Yeah. Goodbye lands that I didn't need.
Exactly.
Now I'm going to draw gas.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm going to draw. P.S.
Surveil is like, great.
It's everything
great
that
mechanic.
Magic players want to do. So Dimir is my favorite guild to play right now out of all of them. That's, I think, pretty easy decision for me right there. Bulgari.
Yeah.
A lot of people, Bulgari, as you may say, thought this might be the worst guild, but it does some pretty cool stuff as well. I think I usually pair it with blue.
Yeah.
If I have the fixing available. Golgari Finder Broker, I've got written down here. Find Broker.
Yeah.
Finder Broker. Which is black, green for a 3/4, and you can get a permanent back from your graveyard.
Very good.
Into your hand. It's just excellent.
Yeah.
The 1,000-eyed.
Yes.
That card is dumb.
I do feel a little bit like there are some cards that it relies a little bit more on, but there's like the one that's 2 black, green for a 2/2. Undergrowth enters with a +1/+1 counter for each creature in your graveyard.
Yeah.
That card, there was a pool where I had 3 of those, and it was just so good.
Yeah.
And I think if you have, like, Golgari needs a little bit more specific stuff. Like, it needs that. I really like it to have the little early death touchers.
It wants to trade
the little
off.
1/1 death touch. Yeah, so that you can trade off a bunch. And then you play one of those on 4, and it's a 4/4.
Oh, I've got my 4/4.
Exactly.
I've got my 7/7 for 4 mana later.
Exactly. Once again, it's like the Wojek Bodyguard, which is so great.
Yeah.
It's a 3/3, and all of a sudden your opponent wants to attack with that, and they're Boros, and it's like, well, I have a 4/4 on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So here it is.
Celestia, we talked about it just a little bit at the top. Also can be very strong.
Yeah.
Convoke can get stuff out earlier than it should.
Yeah.
And if you can't deal with it, it'll run you over with its centaur's hooves.
Yes, it really will.
Trample on you.
You will have little hoof prints all over you.
Like if you go and get like cupping done at the massage place.
Yeah.
Instead it's like little hoof marks all over your body. That's kind of cute. You're probably dead, but at least it's cute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway,
for sure.
Main takeaway, this format's great.
So much fun. I love it.
Okay,
I can't wait to draft it.
Let's oh gosh. Me too. Me too. Let's talk about this format digitally.
Wow, that's right, because we're moving on.
Yes.
To Arena.
Speaking of loving this format, how many times have you played this format in Arena, Megan?
Actually countless.
I know.
Like, I don't know.
We kept saying to each other, we were like out and about doing fun things. We were just like, oh man.
Arena though. It's so good.
But Arena, right? Am I right?
Arena is so good, you guys.
It feels
You all?
awesome to play. Awesome.
Yes. And it's so... Do you know what is weird? Is that I can't quite put my finger on it.
Why?
Why?
It just feels nice to have the
Exactly.
user interface, to have your creature
It plays
smash in.
so smoothly,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's so smooth, and it looks so dynamic.
Yeah.
It's great.
That being said, it's not without bugs, which you've got to keep in mind because this is still a beta. We're not in full open release yet, but
Yeah.
you can submit them to Wizards and
Yes.
you'll get an email response on
Yeah.
how your bug is being dealt with, which I think is really great.
Yeah. Also, I have to say, so my account are like, I think I had about 6,000 gems.
Yeah.
I have played at least 6 events.
Yeah.
I think more.
For
and
no
I
money.
still have another one that I have one queued. You
Yes.
know, I have enough gems to play one more. Yeah, no, I have paid no more money.
All I've done is bought the welcome pack, which was
Yeah.
$5, and I too have streamed, played about
Like, you
6
just chain
events,
them in.
and you just chain them together.
Oh,
if you have enough wins.
It's great.
Yeah, and you get like unlock new decks to play in the standard format every day. You can modify them. I think it's fabulous.
It's great.
You know, this is a fun fact about Arena. Do you
Yeah.
want to know something?
Yes.
Have you? I don't know if you know this. I learned this morning at 7:30 a.m. when I was up playing Arena because I'm a degenerate.
Here we are.
Megan, do you
Yes.
feel like you're getting mana screwed or mana flooded less on Arena?
Yes. I would say I get mana screwed a little bit less. I feel like flood is actually honestly about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a reason for this,
Yeah.
which I didn't know.
Wait. I think I know.
It came up with a fun fact.
Yes, it's the fun fact on Arena.
What?
It tells you.
It tells you
Yeah.
that in your opening hand, it randomly generates 2 choices. I dropped my pen. And then it chooses one that is the better mix of land and spells
Yeah.
to show you for your first mulligan decision.
It's only for best of ones. I think that only happens in best of
And
one
best of
games.
ones? Okay,
Yes.
that makes sense.
I'm not 100% certain on that, but I think.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense
does.
because best of one is so much harder. Like, you don't want to just mulligan your one game
Yeah.
away. That feels bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty sweet.
It's great. I was
Yeah.
like, wait a second. I've been having a lot less mana troubles. Is this just me, like,
yeah.
putting
A lot
some
fewer mulligans,
but-
for sure.
Yeah, in best of one, like, I enjoy that.
I will say that is maybe my one.
Hold on, we're finding the
Yeah,
pen.
Maria dropped her pen.
Kick it. We got it.
So that's maybe my one complaint. And I think that this
What is?
is the best of one right now being the only option for the sealed
yeah.
on this weekend.
It should come out soon, I think.
Yeah, I think soon it will be best of 3. But while it's best of 1, and maybe this is honestly because we do play a lot, and I think I will say that I think I play probably more than the average arena player,
Yes.
right? Like we've been playing longer and we play a lot more frequently
Yeah.
than the average arena player. But for me, part of my advantage comes in my ability to sideboard well.
Sure.
In a matchup.
Yeah.
And so there are times when it's like, oh, in one of the decks that I built, I didn't have the Deafening Clarion in my main because I was like, well, I'm a little bit more of the aggro deck in this, and it kills a lot of my creatures, and so I'm not going to play it. But then there are games where it's like, well, if this were a best of 3, I would 100% sideboard this in.
Right.
Because it turns out that in this particular matchup, they're the beatdown. And I know how to transition into being the more controlling deck and how to play against that beatdown. But because I don't get another opportunity.
Sure.
So I feel like there are sometimes when I'm like, well, I think that in our game 1, I probably would be able to better use that information from a game 1 than my opponent would be. And so I'm losing a little bit of that advantage.
For sure.
That being said, like I've still felt like I've like we've said, I've chained a bunch of events together, so I'm still doing well in all of these queues.
And it's something
And
about
a lot
it's
of
nice.
fun. It is true, and it's nice. How,
It's fast.
Honestly, you whip through them so
like,
quickly, which feels good.
It really
Because
does.
then you just build another one. You don't stop. You're not like, oh, and then I'm gonna go to bed. You're like, I'm gonna go to bed. Wait. After I open and build another sealed
One
bowl.
more
And
seal.
then I should just play another game.
Because I should probably just win
I just
one.
want to try and see how it goes.
Yep, that's 100% it. 100%. So we
And you know what? I put it on my my terrible laptop. I have like a little garbage Asus laptop from like 6 years ago that can barely run a thing.
And it can run it?
It can run Arena just fine.
That's great.
So that's another mark in its favor, is that my computer can actually handle it.
We, back in the early days of the show, used to have a segment called Great Moments in Addiction.
Yeah.
We talk about how magic was taking over our lives in some way. And we were at the Renaissance Festival in Minnesota, which is great here. And I was buying a mug and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to drink all this mug and play Arena. It's like everything in my life. I'm like, I can't wait to wear these slippers and play Arena.
It's so true. I can't wait to put on this pair of pajamas and play Arena. I can't wait to listen to this new Spotify playlist while I play Arena.
I can't wait to bake this apple pie while I play Arena.
Oh my God, it's so true.
Seriously.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
I felt really good last night because I wanted to so bad.
But you stopped yourself.
And instead, I got some work done. And
look at that dedication.
Oh, do you want to actually know what it is?
What?
That helps me? Okay, this is
Megan's hot tip.
I adore this. There's an app called Forest.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of apps that can help you with time management and focusing on social.
You have to grow your tree.
And the way that Forest works is that you set a little timer for how long you want to not use your phone. And in this case, I make myself do it. I've used before the Pomodoro work method, which is little 25-minute segments that you work in. So you work for 25 minutes and you take a little break and you work for 25. So I usually do 25. And then when you plant it, it plants a little tree in your forest, and if you look at your phone before that time is up, the tree is dead.
Oh my
God.
God.
It dies.
I can't handle that.
And it's so great because all of the trees are so cute. And so I want to do it all the time because it lets me plant cute little trees. Look at my little forest.
Your forest
Maria.
looks great.
It's so cute. So you have like a little forest full of trees for the longer times, and then there's like little bushes for the shorter times.
Excellent.
I love it. So I was like, I'm gonna set myself a forest.
Yep.
For 25 minutes, I'm going to do 25 minutes worth of work, and that was enough time to get me to focus. But it was a struggle.
I know, right?
It was a struggle.
I'm like, I've got to build my IKEA cabinet that I've been putting off for literally 3 months. If I don't, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
So I've got to do it. I'm not going to play Arena. I'm going to build it.
Oh, man.
And just stop
thinking
about it. I won't stop thinking about it, but I'm going to build it. Little updates will come along to Arena. But in the meantime, by the way, like things like a friends list, which people really want, that is in the works. It is going to happen. Being available on Mac will happen as they promised as soon as it comes out on full release. Who knows when that will happen? But by the way, things will keep improving as people play the open beta.
Yeah. That's our 2 cents.
Yeah.
Go get it. You will have a great time playing it. Also, make sure you're still having a social life and getting the rest of your work done. It's a struggle.
Good luck, high five. It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
It's time for Flavor Text Theater movie pitches.
That's right. Our first set, the first Flavor Text Theater of a set is always our favorite Flavor Text Theater, which is movie pitches. So we're going to crack open this pack of guilds, and then we're going to pitch you some movies based on the names of the cards.
By the way, I almost forgot to say this at the top of the episode. We have to pick Cutest and Grossest card in this episode.
Oh, that's
we put
so
it off
hard.
For
There's
too
so many gross cards.
too long. So it's going to be difficult. There's also a lot of cutes. This set has it all.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine you are a big movie executive or TV executive at a network, and we are walking into your office, briefcase in hand, ready to pitch you the newest hit based on the name or flavor of some of these fabulous magic cards. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to come in and pitch you this movie that's about a sailor back in the day. This is a sailor back in the day. And this sailor is on a ship, doing the job, very proud, but has a bad time on the ship.
Aww.
Like people bully the sailor.
Aww.
Are like, you were gonna walk the plank. Some various forms of being mean to the sailor.
Pirate bullying.
Yeah, pirate bullying is the worst kind.
Very specific.
And so this sailor gets very mad and finds out, this is like a superhero origin story, that they have the ability to command the weather, and so makes a tidal wave and like kills everybody in the ship except for himself. He's like, oh my God, what have I done? And then has to learn to live with the power of being able to change storms at sea. And will they turn out to be good or bad? Maybe we never really know.
Wow.
Command the storm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, this one is about have you ever been to like the new circus? You know, like as opposed to the
What do you mean? Do you mean like
I'm talking about like a
Cirque du
21st
Soleil?
century circus. No, but I'm like the ones where there's like the big, huge metal ball and the motorcycles drive around inside of it.
That's what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
I thought for sure you're going to be like, and they're on ropes and gymnastics and trapeze and costumes.
I know what Cirque du Soleil is. I meant like Barnum and Bailey's, but not old school.
But just people in motorcycles riding in a ball.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what that is.
Yes.
What else happens
That's
at that
the part
circus?
that I've seen. I'm just talking about one of those, okay?
Okay,
So there's one of
got
those,
it.
and it's part of like this big traveling circus, and it's about a guy who's like one of the motorcycle riders.
Cool.
But
In.
then someone starts murdering people at the circus.
Oh, spooky.
And he realizes that before he became this motorcycle cage rider, was a PI, and he realizes that he has the skills needed to solve this.
I got out of that game a long time ago.
Exactly, and he's going to use his skills as a motorcycle circle cage driver and as a PI to solve who is murdering people at the circus. It's called Capture Sphere.
100% that's getting made on WWE.
Yes. I'm
Just
going to
saying.
make that a movie.
So this is a story about a procedure gone wrong. So this is like black and white B-movie horror situation.
Okay.
And somebody goes in for what's supposed to be a routine brain operation, but the doctor is, of course, has nefarious purposes and wants to experiment on this person under the knife.
Wow.
Well, under switches out half of their brain with the brain of a dead murderer. So it's kind of like Frankenstein a little bit.
Okay.
But it's only half.
Okay. So
And
they're half murderer.
half murderer, half normal.
Okay.
Sews them back up, go on your way until this person is just like, wow, I'm having some very strange thoughts that I don't normally have. And
Wow, I feel more like a murderer than I used to be.
you know how that feeling can happen to you from time to time.
absolutely.
And just starts like, well, they kill somebody, obviously, because that's the half in a situation where they normally wouldn't have, and has to reconcile like, oh my God, I've been half brain switched, and how do I try and become the person that I actually am versus this part of my murderous brain that's trying to control me some of the time. It's called maniacal rage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So this one is like it's kind of like a teen movie crossed with a ghost story.
Ooh.
So it's
another good one.
It's a teen movie about a girl who's just like she's mean to everyone.
Yeah.
She is like the classic like center of a little clique, and she is always spreading gossip about other people, and she's always on top of like spreading rumors, whether they're true or whether they're false, but they're only bad rumors, right? That like hurt people's reputations and hurt people's feelings.
A singular mean girl.
Yeah, but it turns out that the school that she's at, she's used to being the queen bee, and she transfers to a new school. And the new school that she's at is actually haunted by the ghost of someone who was bullied when they were in high school. And this ghost, like, vowed, like, back when they died, they were like, oh, I'm going to go back to that high school that I remember being so terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to make it a better place
by haunting. You know, if you can use your haunting for good,
okay?
Use your haunting for good.
And so this new like queen bee comes in and is trying to spread rumors. And the ghost makes it so that every time that she tries to say bad things about other people, she loses her voice.
Wow.
Like a little bit at a time. And at first it'll just be for a few minutes, and she's like, oh, that's weird. What was that? But then like as she keeps trying to tell all these lies about people or all these secrets, she starts permanently losing her voice a little bit at a time. It gets hoarser and hoarser and hoarser and quieter and quieter and quieter. It's called Whispering Snitch.
You know what? That's great. This reminds me, it could be a Miss Piggle Wiggle story.
Who's Miss Pickle Wiggle?
Wow. Miss Pickle Wiggle was a series of books for kids.
Oh, was she the terrible woman who kind of did scary things to kids?
Yes. Which is this case here.
Yeah, it is. This is not a nice ghost.
Some kid would not take a bath, and so she planted like a garden on them or whatever and plucked radishes off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the punishment must fit the crime sort of situation.
Gross and weird.
The Whispering Snitch. Wow, that could be a real movie too. This next one, I'm going to make a beautifully animated cartoon that doesn't have any dialogue. Kind of like, what am I thinking of? Fantasia.
Yeah.
But it's going to be even more, it's going to be like watercolor animation. It's going to be gorge. And what happens is there's a bunch of wonderful forest animals, and they find one of the deer comes across these glowing mushrooms in the forest.
Yeah.
And eats them and becomes human.
Wow.
And then is now a human, but with the heart and soul of a deer.
Yeah.
And must go off into the world with this knowledge. And then, say a skunk comes along and eats the glowing mushroom, turns into a skunk person or whatever. And it's just kind of like, there's lovely music and it's just kind of weird, but also pretty.
Yeah.
And how do they live this new life? And it's called Glow Spore Shaman.
Oh.
Because a shaman planted them there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, this one is a movie about a web developer, and her name is Karen.
Great.
And she, after a couple of years working in web development, she realizes that the company that she's working at is doing things, like super unethically.
Yeah.
And so
In the world of web development.
in the world, they're doing. Look, I obviously know a lot about web development.
I love this.
So.
I love this. Like, what could they be doing? Like, this it leaves a
knows?
lot of room for
Who
creativity.
knows? And she decides that rather than quitting, she's gonna like erode it from the inside. Right? She's
Nice.
gonna bring the place down. So it's called Dev Karen Dissident. Developer Karen, Dev Karen.
Nice.
Okay.
I love a good pun on the movie pitches game. Okay. All right, here we go. So, there is a young man living in the city, moved to the city from the country to make his fortune as a blog writer. The folly of young country
People,
boys everywhere
yeah.
that moved to the city. And it's going to be about the news that's happening. He wants to write it from the real person's perspective on the ground in the streets.
So he wants to be a journalist,
Yes,
but for himself.
For himself.
Okay,
on a
sure.
blog.
All
I don't
right.
know if that's relevant, but
Okay.
that's what happened in my mouth.
Okay.
And outside of his new big city apartment, he lives in an old building that's mostly condemned, but they had one room available. I'll take it.
Wait, you can condemn a building,
But not one. But one
not
of the rooms.
one room.
One of the rooms is fine. The rest of the building is like, if you walk in here, it's gonna fall down.
Okay, keep going. Just wanted to clarify.
Yes, that is the case.
Okay.
And outside of his window, he notices two like stone gargoyle-like figures. They're actually two sphinxes. And one day he's sitting there trying to have inspiration for what news he's going to blog about. And he notices that the eyes of the sphinxes outside his window are glowing.
Oh.
And he's just like, whoa, that's really creepy and weird in this old half-condemned building.
Yeah.
And then he looks down at his article and it has written in it that something has happened. Like a murder has taken place at 32nd and Grand. And he's like, oh my God, I've got to get out there. And once he gets there, it's happening. So he can stop it.
This is early edition.
It's early edition. Or City Watch Sphinx.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I'll greenlight that.
Yeah, we need a new early edition.
Okay, so this one is this is about a chemist. This is a long, long time ago.
Ooh, okay.
We'll say it's Victorian era.
Nice.
It's a Victorian era chemist who inherited his chemistry business from his family, and he's never loved it. And he's honestly kind of bitter. He's just like, I didn't want to do this, but I had all these expectations from my family that I would become a chemist just like them. And so he's going about it, and he's sort of like, just hates it. He hates it. And the business isn't doing well because of it. No one wants to go to this chemist who's like just terrible.
Who doesn't care.
Exactly.
Never
who,
go to a
doesn't care
chemist
and
who doesn't
and
care.
is mean. But then, some of the darker elements of London are like, we can turn this to our use. And so they coerce this chemist into becoming one of them, and he becomes their hired poisoner.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Underworld, the costumes are going to be great.
Yes.
This next one is really dumb. But basically, this is we're making We're making the magic movie, which may or may not ever be happening. But in our story, Niv Mizzet is at the center of it. And it's not a drama. It's not an action flick like you might expect in the Magic Universe movie to be. But it is rather a comedy about Niv Mizzet raising a baby for the first time. Uh-oh, what's going to happen in Niv Mizzet Parent? Yay, we got a pretty sweet rare. By the way, this is going into our October giveaway that you can enter for this and a bunch of other sweet swag underneath the link in this video or in the show notes for Gleam.
Okay, so this is about a follow me on this one.
Okay, all right.
This is about a mafia family in New York that owns a bagelry. Okay?
A bagelry. Got it.
Bagelry. But like that chemist's
They don't like it.
No, their business is just failing.
Okay.
And they're just like, what can we do? And so someone comes in and is just like, hey, let me refurbish your business. And they do. It's called Loxodon Restorer. Mostly I was just going for the mafia bagelry pun.
Yes.
Loxodon.
Eat your heart out, Rich Hagen.
That's the name of their business.
Oh, beautiful. Loxodon.
They really play into the fact that
they're
everyone knows that they're part of the mafia.
Everyone knows, but they make such good bagels.
Exactly.
Why should we get them in trouble? This movie is set in, it's going to be old days in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ye old days in Scotland.
And there's lots of cool grave sites where there's a hill. What is the word I'm looking for? And then they're covered up with stone. And this young girl has heard many tales that there's a precious treasure inside one of these burial mounds.
A barrow?
Yeah. Is that what I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Maybe.
What they call them in The Hobbit.
We'll call it that. And she wants to get in, but she can't. There's some magic enchanting her and she can't make it through. But it says, talk to your village and figure out the way. Eventually, she figures it out and gets through the barrier of bones, which is the name of the movie, but realizes that they're all her ancestors. Oh. And the real treasure was the stories they have to tell her from beyond the grave.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
This one is a kid's movie about a little goblin who doesn't have any friends because every time a friend comes around, he's mean to them. Oh, and it's about his learning that he can't, if he wants to have friends, he can't his first instinct can't be to lash out at them. It's called Ornery Goblin.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Wow, we have some pretty good movies here.
Yeah. It's always fun to do our first set of movie pitches.
I know.
Let's see, Capture Sphere.
I love Capture Sphere.
Whispering Snitch.
That's already in production. Dev Karen, I love.
Hired Poisoner.
Yeah,
I want to see
for it.
I love a little, Victorian era.
story.
I'm very excited for City Watch.
City Watch Sphinx is the one I'm most into. Yes. Glowspore Shaman could be beautiful. Yeah. Maniacal Rage was made in 1932.
I want to see Glowspore Shaman as a little only music, a little silent film.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Like a little silent animated movie. Very cute.
Yeah.
Into it.
So all of these cards and more heading into our October prize package.
Yes.
Which means we're going to be drawing our September one at the end of this episode. So we'll let you know who has won that. All right, let's talk magic controversy. It's Tuesday. There's another one.
It's Tuesday. Why not?
So we mentioned last week we wanted to talk a little bit about the whole controversy that happened because we were very close to it.
Yes, we were in the building.
We were there when we were in the room where it happened.
We were working.
Yeah, we were working.
Yeah.
The World Championship.
I'll admit off the top that this is a little bit difficult to talk about. Absolutely. Because I came home on Monday and realized as I was talking to other people about my weekend, aside from some bad personal things that have happened in my life that have made worse moments, I was like, this is one of the worst. That was one of the worst weekends of my life.
That's a pretty big statement.
Again, excluding bad personal things in my life.
Sure.
It was the worst.
Okay. Well, let's dig into this. I want to say up front that anything we say is not representative of Wizards of the Coast. We're not employees.
No.
We are contractors, so these are our own opinions.
Yeah.
It was, we worked World Championships. In case you don't know what happened, Jerry Thompson, one of the players competing, who was very beloved in the community, decided to drop out and protest some of Wizards' policies and did not play the tournament.
Yeah.
45 minutes before the tournament started, he alerted, I believe, the staff that he was not going to play. So the way we found out about it or at least I did, was about 2 minutes before I was about to go live on the air.
Yeah.
With Rich at the news desk.
Same. For me, it was like when like it happened, and then it was like a couple of minutes later when the Reddit post went up, and we're all about to start our work day.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sitting down to be on social media for the weekend.
Yep. I'm come out of, the green room where we're all like, oh, we're getting ready to do the show. And someone's like, did you see this? And I'm just like, oh my God. It felt like I had been kicked in the face.
Yeah.
And the stomach.
I believe that.
And the back. And the eyeball. Yeah. And I'm just like, Rich must have seen the look on my face as I was walking up to the news desk because I probably looked like death. He's like, we're just going to get through this. I'm like, okay. So, yeah. And I think the reason we had such a strong reaction is, well, it's a pretty big shock.
Yeah.
Nobody's done anything like this before.
Yeah.
But notably, which we alluded to last week, is the comments about coverage.
Yeah. And I'll say this at the top. I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to say.
We've had a week or so.
Yeah, exactly. And even before when we had talked about maybe talking about it last week, but then we had Judge Rob on. It's like, no, we want to honor like Judge Rob being on and people who really appreciate the Judge Rob episode for just being the information drop that they need right before the pre-release. So even like going into that. Win. Yeah, exactly. And Javier, who like had an amazing thing. Yeah. Like it was an amazing finish. It was so great. Like the one thing that that it boiled down to for me is remembering that it's like someone can be right and wrong at the same time. Yeah. Which is what it comes down to for me. I think that Jerry is both right and wrong about a lot of the things that he wrote. Yeah. Which is complicated sometimes, right? A lot of times, like instinctually, really I think a lot of people who supported him want everything to be right. It's like, yes, everything that he said is correct. And people who are hurt by what he said want everything to be wrong. And it's hard to live with the understanding that it's like, guess what? It's both. He's both right and wrong about some things.
And in a world of fast information sharing and memes and like trying to jump on trains before they leave the station so everyone can be on the same side or whatever, that's a very hard viewpoint to take because it's not a hot take.
No, it's not a hot take.
Right?
It's like it's the most middle of the line take. Like, guess what? You're right and you're wrong.
If you don't know what he said specifically about coverage in his statement, it was that coverage is abysmal.
Yes.
And that the only thing that they have to show for changes in the last several years is an advantage bar.
Yes.
And I listened.
And he also said we need different commentators.
Yes. People who, quote, know the game, understand the game, can talk about it at a high level, something like that. I shouldn't say quote. That's not a direct quote, but it's something along those lines. Yeah. And I listened to Jerry on Cedric's podcast today where he walked back a lot of this statement. He said, I should not have said coverage is abysmal. I shouldn't have made that joke about the life bar. Yeah. But the fact is, you did say it. Yeah. And a lot of people are not going to hear the Cedric interview. Yeah. They heard this great big atomic bomb that you dropped and saw it, and they're going to take that at face value. Yeah. And
like at the end of this entire thing, what are they going to take away? They're going to remember the first thing that you said.
Yeah. So it's just like, that statement was very hurtful. Not just because like this is our job and somebody's coming in and being like, you suck at your job.
Yeah. Which is what it was.
Which is what it was.
Yes.
But also because I think of a lot of what Meghan and I do is representative too. Yeah. Not only are we doing our job as our individual selves there as Maria and Meghan, but we're being visible women in that space, which is pretty new. Mm-hmm. And, we wish it could be greater. Yeah. But there it is. And lumping that important fact into the word abysmal is like pretty hurtful on a number of levels.
Yeah. It feels like, and it's like nothing has changed. Like all we have to show for it is the life advantage bar. It's like, so what you're saying is that like an accomplishment, a place where we feel like we've made strides, and we honestly, it's hard work what we do. It is difficult. And I'm not just talking about going to an event and actually working it. I mean that it is emotionally difficult to go and be a woman working at a magic event.
100%.
All the time.
All the time. Every minute.
Exactly. Everything.
Every minute you have
difficult.
A weight dragging your heart down.
Yes.
Which sounds like a terrible thing to say. But guess what? Women have to live with that every day in a number of different careers. So you understand. It's
just like looking at it's like, oh, so what you're saying is that what we're doing, the work that we love doing, but also that we are making a personal sacrifice, like an emotional sacrifice to do, means nothing to you.
Yes.
You don't even see it.
You don't even see it. That's the hurtful thing. I
Yes.
think.
It's like we've done a lot of hard work. And
a lot of it is,
you don't care.
Right.
Or it's just invisible to you.
And I think, too, this statement from him, which, again, he has walked back, but we still need to comment on the first thing that he wrote, because that is, like we said, what is most visible to people.
Yeah.
And what everybody responded to. What was I going to say? I'm losing my train of thought here. Is that, some people in the community fully supported every word that he wrote.
Yeah.
And I don't think they really did. I think they just saw
Again,
it and responded.
You feel it and you want it to be all right or all wrong.
Right. And that was particularly hurtful to me personally.
Yes.
Because you're my peers.
We'll be honest, we have friends.
We have
people
friends.
who are maybe listening to this right now who we saw replying, or we saw retweeting, or we saw commenting with just like yes to all of this.
Yeah.
And we just want you to know what you said. You said that you echoed the same thing. You told us that what we do doesn't matter.
Yeah. And so that hurt. And we understand that it might have been a knee-jerk reaction or whatever. So I'm not going to be like, calling you like you're terrible. But just like,
all we're
this
saying is
matters.
that this is something that happened that hurt us. And in some cases, it's people that we know and it's people that we consider friends who did something that hurt us.
Yeah.
And I'm past the point in my life where I will live quietly with someone having hurt me.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And it's super personal to us, so we can't completely devoid ourselves. We work with these people, and they're like our family.
Yeah,
we love them, and the work that they do, everybody tries so hard to be excellent at their job.
Yeah.
Can we improve? Absolutely.
Yes.
Have we been improving? I will say absolutely to that as well.
Yeah.
So
are there still things that are bad? Like, again, it comes down to, even within just the one aspect of coverage, he's not all wrong.
Right.
There are elements of coverage that do need to be improved on.
Yes.
But he's also not all right.
Yeah. And can we do it? Yeah.
Yes.
I believe we can.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's fair to say that that Wizards is not listening to people, is not trying to change things. I would say that they are, and they're trying very, very hard.
I would say that sometimes some of the problems that people are talking about, where it's just like the pro players club thing just keeps changing.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're not just doing that on a whim. They're legitimately trying to find the right answer. And it's difficult when you're having to be the person who's being buffeted by the winds of that change.
Yes. Yes.
But it doesn't mean that they're not listening. It means that they're trying and that they're wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's not because they're being callous towards you.
No, I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Is, we don't work for them. We're not inside the building every day, but we do work with a lot of people who work for them.
Yeah.
And it's just my personal opinion that putting them into this bad guys club of they're evil, they're making decisions cavalierly, they don't care, is simply false.
Yes.
And I think in the future they're going to demonstrate that even better and continue to work on it.
Yeah.
And I think they have been making a serious and concerted effort in the past few months to really change that.
Yeah.
And he did kind of comment on the new, what are they called? The pro players that are coming in to help change things, as that's not going to do anything. I think that's
which is
super
very difficult
offhand,
for those people also to hear.
And doesn't, you can't just, I don't think you can just say, well, because of these things, this means X won't happen in the future.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that you can say
Yeah.
that. I mean, you can plan the outcome with these different variables that have been inserted at this point in time. Yeah.
I will say, I think since we're talking about it, this isn't Smith. One of the things that was difficult for me, especially about the coverage piece, is that I'll be honest, I think sometimes about quitting coverage. And what it comes down to a lot of the time is the pro players that I have to work with, honestly. Some of them are really wonderful. Some of them are people that I'm so glad that I know them, because they're kind and they're hardworking, and they're people that I'm glad to know. That being said, there are many more of them that are really disrespectful. And some of them that can be like just unkind.
Yeah.
And it is exhausting. And I'm not gonna right. It's difficult to talk about because I think
so
people
hard.
look at the pro players and it's like, oh, these are people that we look up to, or these are people that are great at the game. These are people that have been awful to me.
Yeah.
There's some of them that have been great, and there's a lot of them that have been terrible, and it makes me want to quit sometimes. And it's pitting that group of players against a set of people who have been there for me when I am struggling through those moments.
Yeah.
When I'm like, I come back from a tournament and it's like, I had an interaction with like this player and this player, and it made me feel horrible.
Yeah.
I'm upset and I'm exhausted and I don't want to do this. And it's the people who are my bosses, or the people that I report to at Wizards who have been there to support me and been like, hey, like these are the things that you can do in those situations. Like talk to us and tell us about these things.
Sure.
And so it's hard for me to also read something that's just like, oh, calling the group of people that has supported me just like broadly bad, and the people that have been horrible to me broadly good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was a difficult thing for me to read.
Absolutely. It kills me to hear this kind of stuff, but it's a truth that, we have to deal with.
Yeah. And it's like, I get it. Some of these people are your friends, and they are good people, and they don't realize that they're treating other people poorly. But it does, like, I'm just acknowledging it as another thing, one, that makes it difficult for me to have, like, read what he was writing. And two, because it's something, like I said earlier, like, I feel like I'm moving past the part of my life where I will take people treating me poorly and not say anything about it.
Sure. So many instances in life, women have to just swallow a lot of this happening to them and just smile and be like, great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's where I feel like
that kills you a little bit every time.
Sometimes where it's just like, well, this is my job right now, and like I need to do this for work. Like I need to be kind to you, or I need to be polite to you, even though you're over here basically treating me like garbage. Yeah, and it sucks.
I will say, we've talked about this, at length throughout the tournament and afterwards and everything, and a lot of points we agree with, and some things we agree with to an extent. Yeah. I will say, like, broadly overall, obviously it'd be fabulous if we could pay out further down, if we could pay more money. We would all love this. That being said, I'm just going to state my personal opinion here as a player who has never, like, seriously made an attempt at the Pro Tour. But before I did coverage and all this, I was going to GPs. I was flying to them. I was playing. I wanted to do well. Did I ever feel like I was being sold a false bill of goods from Wizards of the Coast? No, I did not. Yeah. I did not feel like, and even if I had achieved that level, I would not be like, I expected to have a mansion and a car and a living wage by playing this game. This is my personal opinion. I don't believe that's what they're selling. Yeah. Maybe other people feel differently, but to me personally, it's a game I'm playing for fun. I can win some money at it. If I'm extra good, I can maybe even make a living off it. Holy cow. Maybe it's not a great living, but I'm getting some money. Yeah. Maybe I can write, maybe I can do a podcast to, add to that. But I don't ever feel like I was sold, do this and it will be your life and we will pay for your life. Yeah.
I do wonder if that's like some of that's like a difference in perspective though. Because some of these pros are people who have been playing a lot longer and like I don't know what the messaging was when they became pro players. Sure.
That's fair.
But at the same time I feel like that's something that I'm also willing to acknowledge as like I get that there are concerns that pro players talk about that I can't understand. Yeah. Because I do not live in the same place of the game that they do. Yeah. And then, but at the same time, I think that sometimes we could also use more acknowledgement for like the huge player base that's just casual players that just loves the game. Yeah, absolutely. Which are at the end of the day, the people that we want to be here for the podcast, honestly. Like we do talk about PPTQs and we talk about RPTQs and getting better. But at the end of the day, I think what we want our podcast to be about is just the joy of playing Magic. For sure. And we want to acknowledge that there's a lot of people who aren't gonna go to GPs or who don't want to be on the Pro Tour. And that exactly, like that's not part of the way that they live with Magic. And we want them to have joy in the game, and we want to talk about them and acknowledge them and like celebrate them because we think that everybody
absolutely
is great.
And I think, like you mentioned, a lot of times the viewpoint of those players gets drowned out
Yeah.
And I think it's a little too bad because they are the majority.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. They're the ones paying the bills.
Exactly.
So.
All of those boxes of unstable.
Oh, yeah. That too.
Yeah.
That too. So anyway, I don't know. Like the stuff
It's right. Like I
there's
said.
right and wrong. Like star building. Yeah, we could do a better job about that.
Absolutely.
I think that's very true.
I think a lot of the stuff that talked about like the lead up to the world championship not being big enough, I completely agree with.
Yeah, for sure. There's reasons for that, by the way.
Yeah.
So they weren't just callously being like, oh, who cares, world championship?
Yeah.
It's business stuff. And could they have been better at that about a year ago, 6 months ago? Probably.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. It wasn't malicious.
Yes. It wasn't just like, we're not going to
It wasn't forgetful.
Yeah.
It was none of those things. Anyway. But yeah.
So, and it was a difficult weekend.
Yeah. How do you feel now, a couple of weeks out from this?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think I've managed to be a lot more, I've gotten a lot calmer about it than I was.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've basically arrived at the point where I'm just like, some of what he said was valid. Mm-hmm. And I need to acknowledge that. That's important.
And it's important to talk about how we felt when we saw this.
Exactly. But at the same time, there's also the part of me that was hurt, the part of me that had a terrible weekend because of what happened, and the part of me that knows that some of what he said was wrong. And some of what he said was hurtful because it felt like what we do is invisible. And like it's also okay for me to feel that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm glad we took a minute out to talk about this.
10 minutes, 15 minutes.
However long.
20 minutes. A lot of minutes.
A lot of minutes.
Yeah.
And the main takeaway is what you said off the top. This isn't black and white. This is pepper.
Yeah, this is pepper. Wow. Good luck, high five. This is pepper.
Hashtag this is pepper.
Yeah. And I don't know, at the end of the day, what it comes down to for me, and I just want to reiterate, is that we love everyone who plays the game of Magic.
Yeah. It is the best game in the world. That's just a straight up fact as far as I'm concerned.
Which is why sometimes, but when I talked about there are pro players who are terrible, I think why it extra hurts is because it's like, I include you in the people who are important to me because they play the game of Magic. I don't just think that casual players are important. I don't just think that pros are important. I think that everybody who plays Magic is important and wonderful. And I want to celebrate them and the way that they choose to love playing the game.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. And all I'm really asking is that anyone else who's playing is also taking that time to be like, hey, even if the way that you play the game is different from how I play the game, I'm still going to celebrate that.
Yeah.
It's still Magic at the end of the day.
It's still valid.
Exactly.
And know that we, as much as we can do, are doing everything we can to increase the quality and make coverage better from our standpoint.
Yeah.
We're continually working hard at it. We want to do better every single time we come to our job. And I think everybody on the team is the same way. And I would say, hey, I maybe consider that things are going in a positive direction and will continue to go in that way. Because I do truly believe that. Yeah. I believe people have had a kick in their butt before this was written. Yeah. And we're moving in a positive direction and they're going to continue to do so. Being a part of a company, that's a subsidiary of another much larger company. Turning a boat that size, you can't turn on a dime.
You don't turn a big boat on a dime.
If
the Titanic taught us anything.
Oh gosh. Now we're comparing it to the Titanic.
That's a terrible thing. I take it back.
I mean, I've been a part of a big company and it wasn't even that big. It was pretty small, all things considered. And getting a sea change there was like, and while it might be like, just do this, it's super easy. It's not always the case in a company, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm not trying to make excuses for them. I'm just trying to say this is how the real world operates in a giant company.
Which is why sometimes it's like, why hasn't this changed? And it's like, well, they're starting to implement it, but you're not going to see it for 6 months.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but that's the way it works. Me and Meghan, we can change our name today again because we're two people.
Guess what? This is now called Salt and Pepper.
Ooh, are we gonna write? Are we gonna write
that
sweet
name
raps?
Is taken. That name is very taken. right.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
It's time for us to name cutest and grossest card, finally, because we've been just putting it off. And we've
Really
had people come
taking
up to
our
us
time.
like, you've got to name it. I'm like, you're right. You've spent too long without a king or queen or monarch in these categories for Guilds of Ravnica. I will say this, as we've said, lots of cute cards in this set.
Also lots of gross cards.
Lots of gross cards.
Yeah.
Cute cards. A lot of people pressuring me
Yeah.
to choose Affectionate Indrik. Guess
Yes.
what? I'm not going to choose it.
Wow.
That's all I have to say about that. I think it is cute, but it's too push
It
for
is
me.
cute.
I had a lot of people equally pushing me to choose, what is it, Generous Stray?
Oh, yeah. Generous Stray.
Which is our runner-up, because I would normally choose the cat, but I don't want to
Yeah.
just snap choose cats and have
That's
that
fair.
be my thing. Because I
Oh.
do think it could be cuter. I mean, it's a stray. It's kind of a little ragged,
Yeah.
but it's giving me a lizard, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah. What
there's-
about Burglar Rat?
Burglar Rat, very cute.
Oh, I
It
love
burgles.
Burglar Rat.
It's high on the list.
Oh, it's so cute.
But I had to go with my gut of when I saw this card. Every
Wow,
time I
it's
saw
none
it,
of these.
one
Wow.
I knew Megan is not gonna be happy with this answer. When I saw that, every time I see this card, I get a happy little feeling because I'm like, this is just adorable, and the concept behind it is adorable. I think that's adding to it.
Okay.
And the winner of cutest card for Guilds of Ravnica is Demir Spybug.
What?
I love the idea of little tiny bugs flying around and spying on people. I think
No.
that's adorable.
You're the worst.
And you know what it comes from too is in Star Wars, that little probe droid. Look at these are its legs. When it flies around, it's like beep, 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 beep. I love that thing. I love the probe droid. So I think this is where it's coming from in my heart. Demir Spybug, you may be disgusting, but you're also friggin' cute and you spy on me. That's adorable. You're a little bug. You have a job. That's cute.
Yeah.
There you go.
Gosh, I'm mad, but okay.
It's
All
fine.
right. Here's a runner-up. Spinal Centipede.
Ugh.
Freaking disgusting.
Gross. Keep your spine on the inside where it's supposed to be.
Also, centipedes, worst bug.
Yeah,
Top.
I agree
They're
with that.
very
There's
near
no
the
bug
top.
worse than a centipede.
Well, there probably are. I don't want to know about
I don't
them.
wanna know about
I
them.
don't.
No.
In my home, centipedes.
Ugh.
The worst.
You're only
bug.
supposed to have a few legs, but you have
No,
way too
you
many
have
legs
so many
for
legs.
comfort.
So many legs. But the grossest card is the demon made of arms itself. Doom Whisperer. It's made of arms.
made of arms.
It is made of arms.
Where is its body? Does it have
I
intestines?
don't even know.
I suppose
it
it's a
is
demon.
made of arms.
Doesn't need intestines.
Oh boy.
Megan, you might be seeing a lot of this
Arena
card.
even has like an animation that happens where it's a bunch of arms reaching out.
It's so creepy.
Look at it. It's made of arms, Maria.
Question,
made
Megan.
of arms.
Have you seen Nightmare Sphinx animation on Arena?
Yes.
That is
Also
really
spooky.
spooky.
It's very spooky though. It's not gross.
No, it's spooky.
Nightmare Sphinx is more spooky.
Yeah.
If we had a spooky, we can name it spookiest card
It's
for
spookiest
October.
card.
Spookiest
Happy
card.
October, everybody.
Spookiest
Dream.
card.
What's it called?
Nightmare Sphinx?
Nightmare Sphinx. I just said it.
Wait, no. What is it's
Dream Eater.
Dream Eater Sphinx.
And it's a Nightmare Sphinx. That's a
Its
creature type?
is Nightmare Sphinx,
Okay, we got there.
but we'll just call it Nightmare Sphinx.
Dream Eater. Creepy beard face
But
thing.
Doom Whisperer, demon made of arms.
Well, there you go.
Oh boy.
Your cutest and grossest card for Guilds of Ravnica. May their reign be long and strong
Yeah.
throughout Guilds
Wow,
of Ravnica.
I can't believe you. Stop, collaborate, and listen to this,
Nice.
which is us telling you that Ultra Pro is great. I really wanted, stop the podcast. Collaborate with Ultra Pro. Listen to Good Luck High Five.
Nice. That's good.
Thank you.
That's good.
Well, I got there on the second try, which is what counts.
Hey, one of our sponsors, Ultra Pro, they support the show, so they must be great. This is a
Yeah.
math equation, algebra, simple as that.
That's right. Algebra, the simplest of the complex maths.
I agree with that statement. It was the only other
really
math
do.
I could ever do.
You know, geometry was more frustrating to me than I expected it to be.
I was very bad at geometry.
I wasn't I just remember it being, it was just that it was more difficult than I expected. I was like, it's just shapes.
Shouldn't this be like tangrams?
Like, it just feels like it should be easier because it's shapes, and you're like, I understand shapes on like a basic conceptual level. Anyways.
Were you at your pre-release this past weekend and thought to yourself, geez, I need a new deck box?
Oh, I think
Guess
that
what?
a lot of the time.
Here's some great options for you.
Yes.
We've got
This is one of my favorites.
this M2 deck box here.
Yes.
Holds 75 double sleeve cards. Looks great. Has a dice holder.
Also, it says 75 double sleeved, because I was gonna say I put my 100. I put my first commander deck in sleeves.
Nice.
I loved it.
You can also choose this Ultra Pro Satin Tower deck box, which looks indestructible.
Yeah, it looks
and very nice.
It's lovely. It has a beautiful satin finish. Also sleeves, dice, playmats.
Yes.
Anything that you could use to enjoy a great game of Magic.
Ultra Pro, where the pros go, and also you.
Also us. Whatever you want to call us.
Whatever we are.
What are we?
I don't know.
Humans.
Human beings. We're
For
definitely
for sure.
humans.
Definitely. These humans recommend Ultra Pro.
Hey everybody, that's this week's episode. We sure talked about a lot. Wipe your
That's
hands.
me wiping my
We're
hands.
done.
Yeah, we are.
All right, so I'm going to tell you the winner of our drawing for September. By the way, enter this.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people do. You have a good chance.
Wow.
Emily Wood from Canada.
Emily,
Congratulations.
Are you sure
won a prize
Canada,
pack.
not California?
It is Canada.
Okay, good.
I just wrote CA.
Oh, I didn't. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, for Canada.
Canada.
In this case.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can enter through the link underneath the YouTube video or in the show notes. Gleam is the name of the contest, and you can enter by subbing to our YouTube channel or our Twitch channel. So yeah, you've got some options there.
Yeah. Speaking of Twitch.
Yeah. Wow, that was
Jinx.
a jinx.
Twitch.tv/GLHF Magic. We're streaming a lot of Guilds Arena because we can't stop playing it.
It is excellent.
It's so good. So if you're unsure, come check it out with us.
Yeah.
We'll give you the what's what on the hoppity hip hop.
And you can check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/goodluckhighfive. We're not GLHF Magic on YouTube because we have expanded our content. We're not only Magic, we're also doing board game reviews.
That's right.
Yeah.
This week we reviewed Azul.
Azul, one of my all-time favorite games.
Maria loves Azul, and it's beautiful.
It's
so just go
gorgeous.
check it out. Like, just take a look at it because you will want to buy it. You will want to play it. As I was editing the video, I looked over at Maria and I was like, just watching this makes me want to play it right now.
Seriously, it's such a perfect game.
It's so fun.
It's a great gift if you know a gamer. If it's a great gift for yourself, if you're like treat yourself, you'll want to play it a million times. Excellent.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, so that's a game there. And you use a drafting element.
Yeah.
So it's like
Put those
a little
magic
bit.
skills to use.
Exactly.
All right.
Thanks once again to everybody who supports on patreon.com/GLHF Magic. Go there and support today if you've been thinking about it, or even if you haven't. Why not make this the month that you choose to support the show and join everybody who's already doing it in helping us out and making content that you enjoy every single week.
That's right. You can also contact us through the website or on Twitter at GLHF Magic. If you listen to us talk about the Jerry thing and you're like, I have some complicated feelings that I'd like to tell you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tell us.
All right.
You can find us at Twitter at GLHF Magic, same as Instagram and Facebook.
Nice.
We're everywhere.
Yeah,
you can't get away from us.
Just try.
This is threatening.
Until next week, good luck. High five.